Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, you see, that's the joke. If you're an IT director or a business leader, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. And yes, of course, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Nissan finally getting a new CEO, and he actually likes cars, which perhaps maybe someday in our lifetime, they will make a reliable vehicle. A tall order, some might say, but maybe. You never know. Crazier things have happened. Ford still exists. Now, this comes to us thanks to Motor1.com, specifically Jeff Perez is a writer over there. And they say, quote, Nissan's new CEO is a real car guy. That could be exactly what Nissan needs. Also, no more CVT transmissions in cars that, last more than 20,000 miles. But, all those things would be pretty nice. Now, they say, quote, Nissan's recent struggles are no secret. The company teeters on the verge of bankruptcy after a failed merger attempt with a fellow Japanese conglomerate, Honda, which, thank God, because, Honda makes reliable, fun, cool cars. Nissan makes none of those three things, especially since they killed the GTR. They make the 400Z or the Nissan Z, which is moderately fun, though thanks to dealer markups is kind of rip off after they add their market adjustment fee, also known as BS. Now, they continue to say, quote, now the company has appointed a new CEO in hopes of turning things around, and by all accounts, he's a real enthusiast like us. Even joined Nissan in 2003, working his way up to become vice president of global strategy and chief planning officer before taking over as CEO. Having spent more than 22 years at the brand, Mr. Espinosa is widely recognized by peers as a car guy, which he does have the cool pixelated based glasses in this particular picture, but there's a more kind of cliche corporate America picture where he did like all good men, always suit up, you look your best. Now, the outgoing CEO Makoto says, quote, Esposito is still in his 40s and full of energy. He's also a real car guy. Here you see the Nissan Z, which looks like they added blue to the options this year for 800 plus bucks. But still, you have the option now. Now they say, quote, having a real enthusiast at the helm is a good news for Nissan. Look at the different Toyota. The company Mr. Toyoda, he was at the head of the company for years, but then a couple of years ago, the shareholders kind of pushed him, so he became, out as CEO. Now he's in the head of the board of directors. But yeah, I still think he was the best leader in Toyota's, my life of being around for Toyota's history. Well, the Toyota family at Toyota. Now, they say, quote, the Nissan Z is one of the top performing vehicles, as well as the iconic GTR, which again is now discontinued. But if you're up to Espinosa, and especially now, Nissan would have an entire portfolio of performance cars. During an interview with Top Gear in 2024, Espinosa said that the Nissan needed a entry-level, possibly electric, I don't know about that, sports car alongside the Z and the GTR, which was still at sale at the time. His dream was to revive the Silva name, which was a thing way back in the day. It was that yellow car you saw in the first picture, and that would be nice. Again, the Nissan Z is a great car. I don't think it's a great price point. I think it's like $50,000 plus now for the Nissan Z, which again is a far cry from what they used to be in terms of the old Datsun, entry-level cars back in the day. And to me, at that price point, you just get a nice used Porsche, which would be infinitely more reliable. Granted, it's a Nissan, so the bar's pretty low, but be more reliable and a better track toy than, again, the Nissan Z, which, again, if the sticker price of the Nissan Z was like 35 grand, then you have a compelling reason to get it. Because again, that would get some people to think, I'm looking at this Honda Civic for $32,000, which again, I think that's still overpriced, but nevertheless, current Honda Civic Si is $32,000. For 3 to 4 grand more, you get a twin turbo V6 with a stick shift, and it's a coupe. That's pretty nice. Again, Honda bastardized the Civic by making it only in a sedan these days, but I partially digress. Now, he says, quote, it could be a challenge to revive the brand like Silva, but it's my job to find ways to do stuff like this because I think it'd be great for customers and the brand. And if I can put the right formula in place, we can make it work. Then they say, quote, but first and most importantly, Espinosa's job will be to get Nissan back on track. Which he says, quote, I sincerely believe that Nissan has so much more potential than what we're seeking today, which probably, again, the bar of performance is so low, I would assume they could do better. It'd be inconceivable for them not to. And he says, quote, I'm looking forward to building on the efforts of those who have come before me, which that's a very PC thing to do when you take over as a CEO of a company. In reality, I mean, if you were to actually address a giant 800-pound gorilla or panda in the room, or wait, what do they have in Japan? Koalas? Nevertheless, you'd probably say, yeah, we've messed up for decades. We had shitty, unreliable cars. The only thing that kept us around was Nissan credit, which would give anyone with a car that has a modicum of a heartbeat. I mean, again, the Nissan Altima with the CVT transmission destroyed, in my opinion, what little reputation the brand had for reliability. It used to be like the entry-level Japanese car. I mean, you didn't have money for a Toyota, which historically has the best reliability, or maybe a Honda, but you can get a Nissan, which is slightly better than a Mitsubishi, which is only slightly better than, a rusted out old red wagon that I used to ride as a child. So, I mean, it did have its place. And they note that Ivan Espinosa officially takes over as Nissan CEO on April 1st, 2025, which, again, that's it shouldn't be a joke, but it's April 1st, so hopefully it's not a joke. And again, we'll see what we'll do to revive the brand. I do think entry-level cheap sports cars do help build the brand's reputation, especially in the enthusiast community. It's a low volume thing, especially these days. Even the iconic Ford Mustang is dropping in sales in terms of volume of units. It's a bore to think, but the actual Ford Mustang E-Mach is outselling the real Mustang. I also think it's because of high interest rates and a poor economy. People usually don't buy sports cars during those times. I think those are contributing factors. But again, the Nissan, what they really need to do is make a reliable vehicle. And that's the number one reason all of my friends and everyone I know, they flooded the Nissan brand years ago. I mean, I'm trying to think if I know anyone who willingly drives a Nissan vehicle. No. It might be you always have that one weird friend. I do have a friend who has a Nissan Titan, which was a great discount from the competitors in terms of a full-size pickup truck. I think Nick is the only weird one, yeah. And it's a pretty good truck. But again, the truck is also a cult market. Like breaking into that and getting real market share is so difficult against the incumbents that have been there for a century plus. So it'll be interesting to see what's the future of Nissan. But if I were to say like this is one thing you need to focus on, it'd be reliability, and yeah, get a fun sports car that's an aggressive price point, something like the Toyota GR86, or I guess the parent to that or the sibling to that would be the Subaru BRZ. Same car, different pieces of plastic on the outside. Something that's 30,000. I think that'd be a pretty good plan for Nissan to get a fun sports car out there. And again, just make reliable vehicles. But let me know, if you're the CEO of Nissan, what would you do to try to turn the brand around? And at this point, do you think it's even possible? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you do me a favor and leave a comment, additional feedback is always appreciated. Don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight.